Hello, my name is Mordred Viking and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Europa Universalis IV. We are playing the Anbennar mod as Ovdal Kanzad. If you are unsure about what exactly Anbennar is, it is basically Fantasy EU4. So, many of the mechanics are much the same. Many of the mechanics are also reused in very creative and wonderful new ways. And then you have fantasy races, for example, the elves, the dwarves, gnomes, gnolls, orcs, goblins, ogres, centaurs, harpies, humans, loads of different stuff. It's really quite good. They have this rather massive map already built. It does start in 1444, so it has the same timeline as regular Europa Universalis. And it traces the same kind of time period. So you go through the Renaissance and you have the Reformation, which is basically where we are now, where the major human religion, the Regent Court, has just split between the Regent Court and the Coronites. So there is definitely a big conflict brewing over here. That region is pretty much the Holy Roman Empire. If I remember where that is, there we go, there's the Imperial thing. We can see that the Holy Roman Empire is over here. Then you've also got different events happening in different areas. For example, we're playing as the Dwarves. We are these guys over here, the Ovdal Kanzad. You start out as a remnant, beginning in just a single hold. So we're here in this square structure. Then all of the straight lines here and all of the little caverns are occupied by natives, which are effectively orcs and goblins. And you've got to clear those out in order to reclaim the ancestral homes of the Dwarves. And slowly but surely, you reach out, you reach out, you reach out. You may find out that some of the other dwarven holds have survived. For example, over here we've got Verkal Gulan. That's another dwarf hold. Segirdir, that's another dwarf hold. We actually wiped out all of the unified, civilized, semi-civilized orcs and goblin tribes from this area. Although there are still a couple of them in existence. For example, Heartgrinder, that's an orc group. Bladebreaker, that's an orc group. Grombar, those are orcs. Bionic, I think, are basically Vikings. Karag Dumvor, that's another dwarf hold. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of conflict, but our major conflict at the moment is against the Command, who are hobgoblins, and they are really quite dangerous because they get a lot of military bonuses. They're basically Ming meets Prussia. We did just fight them, we did just beat them. We are slowly but surely making our way towards the northern Serpentspine Mountains in order to retake this right here, which is Gronstunad, which is one of the ancient dwarf holds, which is currently occupied by the hobgoblins. We're trying to take it back again. So yeah, it's really rather awesome, everything going on in this. Because of the way where, for example, the dwarves start in their little holds and they have to recolonize everything, there's a lot of dynamicism in how the mountains shape themselves. And then also this region over here is also pretty empty at the start of the game, because the orcs basically aided in wiping out most of the dwarves, then left the mountains and attacked the humans, destroyed a whole massive human kingdom which used to be over here. Then their leader died, and then the humans basically came back again with groups of adventurers setting out to try and establish new realms and new kingdoms. So Coruvia, Newshire are two of the new, what would you call them? Successor states to Canor, I think is what it used to be called. Meanwhile, the elves came from their ancient homeland far to the west, over here, because they basically blew it up. There was some kind of magical catastrophe. The elves were forced to leave their homeland. They landed in the land of the humans, and now, several hundred years later, they've rediscovered the ancient elven homelands, and they are now habitable once more. So you basically have the age of discovery and colonialism beginning to occur. And then later on, the game will evolve and emerge into imperialism. You will have, what's it called? Enlightenment. The Enlightenment is basically the merging of magic and technology. So, for example, we have the gnomes up here in Nimscod, who are very, very technological, but they also have now relations with the elves, because the elven exiles basically teaching magic, and then they will most likely, these guys, will be at the head of the nascent artifice movement, where they will start merging technology with magic. So, kind of interesting stuff going on. We are still in 1573, so we are not there by quite a long ways. We are in the middle of the Reformation. We're in the middle of the colonization of the Elven homeland. And then there's a whole bunch of other things around. Like, we haven't seen anything going on up here, but clearly there are some rather big nations which are going to be interesting to discover. So yeah, rather a good mod, and I am super excited to play some more of this. What are some good starter nations? I would actually recommend playing as either the Dwarven Remnant, so you've got Ovdal Kanzon is probably one of the easy ones. I've heard that Virkal Gulan can be a good choice, though they do suffer some setbacks at the start. Sekirdir, I pretty much always see them do pretty well. Or you can play as some of the adventurers. So up here you've got the Aster expedition. They're probably the easiest of the expeditions. Then you've also got the Silverforge expedition and the Blue Shield expedition, like over there. I would kind of recommend playing as the Dwarves, because then you are left on your own, and you can kind of grow the game to do its own thing. Didn't put in a pre-Discord stream blurb. Thank you, Faceless, I didn't. I had other things on my mind. The other thing I should mention is there is some stuff going down in the US at the moment. I am well aware of it. I was watching the news during my break, and I know that some people want to use streams as a bit of a getaway from everything that's going down in real life at the moment. So ordinarily I would welcome politics and political discourse in chat. I think talking politics is important. But for today, please, please, please keep it to Discord. So if you want to talk about what's going on, that's absolutely fine. You can do so. But please go to the Discord, which Silver Knight has just linked to. And then we have a Hot Topics channel there, which is dedicated to politics and this kind of discourse. So please do take it there. I want to keep today's stream light, if I can, because I know that people would like to escape what's going on. And also, if you do go to the Discord, keep it nice, keep it pleasant. Those are our rules. If you're not nice, we will boot you. Right, we are getting lots of new follows, thanks to Zloic's raid. Thank you very much for that, Zloic. What were you guys playing? I'm guessing it was EU4. I know that Zloic is a big fan of EU4. I did go up against Zloic briefly when he was playing as Prussia. I was playing as Holland when he was allied to Florrie. But it was a super, super brief one. Anonymous, Beowulf, Zloic, Zura, Molnar Richard Ballant, Nidricht, Swedish Harold, Sialami, Diane Halifax, Viking Squad, good name, Evil Troy, and Bull Billabrux. Thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. And then Wilbo, thank you very much for the bits. Very much appreciate that. Let me just see if there was a message attached. There was. I know this is a weird thing to ask considering you don't know me, but would you do me a favour? My 4th grade brother needs an interview with a YouTuber for a school project and neglected to tell us about it. It was due on Friday until today. Would it be possible to set up an interview with you over Discord? Probably only take about 30 minutes to an hour. Thanks in advance if it doesn't work out. I would yes, I'm open to such things, but I'd prefer if it was just text. But feel free to hit me up on the Discord, and I will do my best to respond later this evening, obviously once I'm done streaming. So if you just have like a list of questions or something to send me, I have no problem answering that. No problem at all. Mordred recommending me a dwarf. I'm shocked! One thing to add as a mod, if you go to the Hot Topics channel, please check the pinned message before we comment, so we don't have to ban people. Yep, we will be pretty tight on the moderation today. Okay, and then the other thing, which Faceless correctly reminded me, is I have not put up the notification up on the Discord, which I will do now, like I said. Other things on my mind. Okay, that's now up. Alright, so, last time we fought against the command. We ended pretty soon after that, so our armies are still somewhat separated. We do still have a lot of manpower, unlike the hobgoblins who have basically none. Somehow. We have extended very slightly over to here, which is what we are starting to core. And then we also took Tuad Dumakon, which we are coring at the moment, and then we will need to repair, because this place is, I believe, yes, a damaged hold. So we are going to need to try and save up some money to get that back up and running. Dolin, a new heir, 443, that is 11 points. That is on the lower end of acceptable. We're 104. We probably could get somebody better. And could also get somebody worse. I think for somebody, considering how long we live, I would like to have somebody with 12 points or more. So I'm going to go just... Sorry, Dolin. You're not even getting a name. I'll just call you Dolin, but you're gone. Sods. Oh, and we can introduce a new heir. I've never actually done this before. Spend 20 legitimacy and 20 prestige to get a new heir. What's that do? Let's just quickly save the game. Seeing as that's just happened, and I'm trying something new. I usually play Republics. And press the button. He's rubbish! He's also weak. Terrible. Oh, I can't get rid of him. Oh, yes I can. Bye. Bye-bye, prestige. It was nice having you. Bastion in the province of Guzilda is done, so yes, while we were fighting the hobgoblins we got the bastion technology. We've built bastions everywhere where we had a fort, which is good because they were going to eat through our forts way too quickly. Have I taken over the command yet? No, but we did batter them in the last war. I like the command moved the semi-civilized Thunderfists to your border to prevent you from using the monstrous conquest CB. Plus, I think they were in the process of civilizing. But yeah, they've done some remarkably smart things, actually. So we do still have some diplomats. Verkor Gulan, we can't vassalize you anymore, unfortunately. You're just too big. I don't really know what to do about you. I like the idea that you are colonizing north. In fact, one thing I could do is try and get your maps of the north. And then I can see what on earth is up there. Where's maps? Maps. Request share maps. Must have positive prestige. Right, okay. We'll get prestige quickly enough. Alright, so where are my armies at the moment? So we have the one army which is up here protecting the hold. I think you're probably okay there for the moment. We do have some pretty hefty unrest. Then we have the main army which is back at home drilling. And then we have you who is going to join that army and start drilling properly. Cool, that's what I was looking for. Accommodations with the natives. Okay. Native orcs and goblins. We don't make accommodations with them, we make dead ones. Idea. We can go up in military drill, which is our massive morale buff. We are 10 years ahead of time in military, so I think we can go ahead and do that. Allow us to invest in military training and thereby improve battle formations, weapon handling, and boost the morale of our army. Renewing some loans, which I would like to pay off, but first of all I want to get this hold rebuilt. So that's going to be basically waiting for the core to happen. Ovdal Kanzon. Ovdal Kanzad is expanded. Heck yeah, that's our capital. So we are now a central hold. Construction time plus 20. Development cost minus 700%. Local goods plus 1. Tax plus 50%. Damn. State maintenance plus 60. Defensiveness plus 30. And then autonomy plus 20, but it's the capital, so the autonomy doesn't do anything. And we could start trying to dig even deeper at level 90. Which we're not a million miles away from. In fact, if we were going to do that, now would be a really good opportunity. So I think what I'm going to do is dev up the production to 90. Okay, so how much is that going to cost to deepen again? 1,289 crowns. It will take 26.6 years. Alright. And we also got a mission done. The Blast Forge. Natural Scientist level 4, Admin 100, Diplo 100. And we have the level 6 hold. Fueled Forge will be removed from Ovdal Kanzad. We'll get the Usthrun Forge, which increases our local goods produced by plus 3. Do it. We can now get steel weapons. Aha! Because I increased the development here, which means that we get another 10% damage from back row, so we'll be up to 35% damage, I believe. And artillery is made even cheaper. And we can go straight to Mithril. Yes! Amber Cannon Mark IV. Mark IV cannons! Oh, read the missions. Yes, thank you. I will do that. The Blast Forge. The same artisan who proposed the successful water jet idea has now asked us for approval on yet another project, this time relating to the forging of metals. He proposes dropping ore through a tube where it will be blasted with extremely hot air while falling, with the finished product falling out in the bottom. While the idea does not appear to be sound, this artisan has been proven right before. So, perhaps it would be worth it to trust him again. Steel weapons. While iron has massively increased the damage we can do on the battlefield, a new engineer of ours, trained by the artisan who designed our new techniques, has found something even greater. While working at the Blast Forge, he accidentally mixed iron with a small amount of chromium, which, to his surprise, resulted in a much stronger material. With this metal in our cannons, we will be unstoppable. New Doctrine of Warfare. This requires steel weapons, Blast Forge, and have more than 40 artillery. Yeah, we definitely have that. While other countries use common soldiers as the backbone of their armies, we use cannons, necessitating a new doctrine to go with them. This doctrine will involve using a strong line of infantry to hold off the enemy while the cannons pound them to bits. Whether the enemy charges us or chooses to cower behind their fortifications, we will emerge triumphant. That sounds suspiciously like Thorgrim's army in the current Dwarf campaign on Warhammer. And we get a New Way of War event. Okay, then. A council of cannon smiths has been called. It is clear that we have reached a new level of mastery over metal, and correspondingly that our inventions have reached a new level of mastery over war. But there is bickering between every forge about how designs may be specialised. Some favour cannons that can be well integrated with our foot soldiers, arguing that such cannons would be more easily defended and could also cover their advance. Others favour more destructive weapons. That way we may rain death from above and see our enemies blown to bits. Both, while will require a great deal of focus and craftsmanship, and our choice will define Kanzadi guns, and consequently the Dwarven guns for centuries to come. It is time for the Lord of Amber to make a decision. So we can go defense is the best offense, which reduces the damage we take from fire and shock. Or we can have missing localization, which will increase the amount of damage we do by 5%. Poll between missing localization and blank. Well, it's either defense or the new god of the battlefield. And yes, I think this will be a poll. So do we want to conserve our manpower by having a more defensive system, so we just weather the storm, bearing in mind that we do have... Actually, we have offensive and defensive ideas now. So I was going to say, bear in mind we're more defensive, but that's not true. We actually use both. And we have no cavalry, but that's kind of irrelevant to this discussion. New way of war, question mark. And the first choice was called defense is best offense. I mean, firepower is the best defense and offense for a new god. I'll just call it a new god because I don't think I can get of the battlefield in there as well. So defense is the best offense, which is an increase or a decrease in fire and shock damage received, which we already have modifiers to because we're dwarves, or 5% more land fire damage, bearing in mind that probably affects the damage from back line buffs, which we are getting because of our artillery line. So this is either even more damage, or we conserve manpower. And vote. Get your votes in. Which shall we do? Vote, vote, vote. Defensive one seems very much how you're playing. That's true. I mean, the war against the hobgoblins, we won by defending the holds. We didn't really go on the offensive until we had a big advantage. Dwarven lives must be preserved. Killing more enemies more quickly is just an active defense. What's the importance of shock fire at this time in the mod? So at the moment, shock is still ahead, but just. We are at the turning point right now. Fire will very soon be coming into the forefront because we will soon be getting, and this is what I usually use as the decision point, Chambered Demi-Cannon. Chambered Demi-Cannon is where the first time that artillery really comes into its own, and then at Leather Cannon they are dominant. And because we're the Cannon Dwarves, I mean our cannon are already dominant with our Small cast iron cannon. Okay, so vote is in. And wow, yeah, that was a close one. Let's go and take a look. So Santa Claus, thank you for contributing. 16,000 channel points. Appreciate that. Defense is the best offense. Came in with 44% of the vote. However, with 56% and carrying the majority today, we're going to go with a new god of the battlefield. Plus 5% land fire damage. Actually, land fire, that's not just artillery, that's everything. Cannon, infantry. The other cannons. Alright, big guns. I mean, our entire idea thing is just about developing bigger and bigger guns. Am I getting the Mithril Cannon? No, Mike, I thought I'd just leave it. Of course I am. Just haven't got to it yet. Okay, so we need to have a Mithril producing province that has at least 12 base production, which we do have. With our acquisition of a large Mithril deposit, we can now craft cannons with the finest metal in existence. Whereas before, our cannons would occasionally break under the strain of repeated use. We'll now be able to fire to our heart's content. Mithril Runeforged. Is that with Dame's Tears by any chance? It is! We have access to Dame's Tears. Well, that's interesting. So right now, how is this looking in terms of our modifiers? I'm guessing that those were not stacking, they were instead replacements. Artillery from back row plus 35%. Yes, they are not stacking. So we will eventually have, I think, plus 40% damage. Which is pretty good. It's pretty good. So Dame's Tier, we needed, how much was it? 20. And our Dame's Tier is over here, where it's a 2. Great. Okay. Well, you can also get the dev cost reduction. We were considering not doing this until we've got economic ideas, because this is going to get very expensive very quickly because of that plus 80%. However, yeah, what's the production value of 54 trade value, 18 goods produced, and we still haven't had the cost increase on iron. Wait for the economic ideas. I mean, we're not desperate to get the Mithril guns, or the Runeforged guns yet. Having them sure would be nice, but we're not desperate for it. Universities help too. That is also true. Okay, I should not have turned on this edict. We'll turn it off when we are able. Are there any other edicts I could be turning off? Almost certainly there are. Yeah, we have a couple of defensive ones, which we don't need anymore. Girls, we are not fighting the command. Okay, that should save us even more money. It's gone up by about 5 ducats. Dame's Tier can disappear. It's a space metal to a finite resource. Okay. Is that the only Dame's Tier province I own? Yes. I'm still going to wait. I'm going to pretend I did not know that. Please don't spoil things. Alright, saving money. Because we need to dig deeper. We need to dig a lot deeper. We need to save a lot of money. But I want to continue drilling, because it's an embarrassment that the hobgoblins have more professionalism than I do. Goblin majority has been purged. Yeah, all of this stuff is going to be on fire for a while. Native uprising being dealt with. Good stuff. No debate in assembly. That was actually perfectly timed, because we had the defensiveness debate for the entirety of the war against the command. I was a bit worried that it wouldn't last long enough, but it did. So we could get charter colonies, which allows us to get another colonist again. I don't think the merchant would be very useful. The advisor costs could be good. Prestige could be good. Would allow us to recycle through new heirs. Or cycle through, not recycle. What does high legitimacy actually do for us? Unrest reduction, tolerance to true faith, diplo rep, income from vassals, absolutism. Alright, legitimacy compared to Republican tradition is rubbish. And also much easier to raise than Republican frickin' tradition. So, Here's the thing with the colonists. We've only really got this little bit to colonize now. And then we're out. We're done. The rest of the mountains have at this point been colonized. And we do still have 3 colonists that are just going to be standing by doing their thing. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be the best choice, actually. I'm leaning towards the advisor costs, because we are planning to do a bunch of expensive projects. Repairing the hold up there, and then also expanding Kanzad. Ovdal Kanzad. The other thing would be reducing maintenance. That's only 4% though. 10% of that would be 1.3 ducats. 10% of that would be 4.4 ducats. No, reducing the cost of the army would actually be better. So let's do that. Quarter the troops. We're going to ignore the corruption because we'll just pay it off. Definitely not doing a scapegoat. I will spend a tiny bit of Diplo. Not losing army tradition. Not losing that. Not doing that. Ignoring some more corruption. I need one more click. Alright, we are going to do the commissions. 95% chance of winning. I don't want to lose the professionalism. That takes too long to regain. I'll leave it. It's fine. Goblin minority dwindles. Good riddance. Can I show the map around me? There you go. The map around me. I can't see that much because we haven't seen anything up there yet. Hopefully, Virkal Guland's discoveries will spread to us. People are spying on us. These are the command's minions. Greatbeard Cavern is about to finish. Next month. There it is. So we'll start going for Sulemak. Move you over there to go and deal with it. Persecuted goblins cause unrest. What? Go ahead and call you. Aren't goblins good for build speed? No, so the goblins just get replaced by the dwarves who have the same modifier. So you can see here, I press majority, build time -20. That just gets replaced by dwarves, who actually just do more. Where's that gone? There it is. Dwarven majority, build time, 20% is the same. Plus we get the production efficiency, plus we get the goods produced. Spy the map of others. We've already stolen the commands maps. They can't see any of this. The only one who could would be Virkal Guland, which we're allied to. I mean, that doesn't theoretically stop us from spying. That is true. What's a little bit of spying between friends, eh? We have a 2.3% chance of discovery every month. Our spies are terrible. No, I'm not going to risk it. Although I do want to piss them off at some point. Diplomacy between nations is often affected by random factors on both sides involved in ways that are beyond the ability of the diplomatic corps of either state. So Tiltagar gains relations or I just gain Diplo power. I'll take the power. Thank you ever so much. Or just wait until I have positive prestige, which is probably what I'll do. Though at some point I would definitely like to try for another heir. But also, I'm not in a hurry, because we can't die until we're 200. And we can even go beyond that. City life. As representatives of areas that are sometimes quite distant from Ovdal Kanzad, many MPs often find that life in the capital during their visits is very different to what they are used to. Some find it both cramped and filthy, and many seem quite relieved when they get to return home. This year has proved even harder than usual to endure for the delicate sensibilities of our MPs. The hot months have been unusually hot, the wet months unusually wet, and the cold months unusually cold. A number of MPs have now decided that they've had enough, and have approached us asking to help make their stays more pleasant. So we can do what we can, which will cost me 146 ducats, Or Ovdal Azan now opposes quartering of troops. I'll pay you off. What's an MP? Minister of Parliament. Or Member of Parliament. Do I want to continue influencing Verkor Gulan for 244 ducats? No, I will pass. Gone are the days where that cost 56. And then the rest of the bastions are done. So we are now properly guarded. How much military tradition am I gaining? Still 0.7, so we still need more. I mean, once this is finished and repaired, we can definitely stick a fort there.